Well, howdy there, partner. What brings you in today? Looking to buy a home, eh? Well, you've come to the right man. Come, have a seat by my nice, toasty, cozy fireplace, and let's warm those palms up and dry that fur. It is a pretty wet and rainy day after all, and then we can talk some real estate. So tell me, what have you heard about our little slice of heaven here in Nipawamset? You've heard correct. All the homes, stores, and buildings you see here were built and furnished by our very own local construction crews and artisans. Now, allow your gaze to drift towards that there window. Do you see the endless sea of pines and birches shielding this town? That's where a majority of our building material comes from. And of course, you couldn't have missed that sparkling azure ocean when you docked into town. That basin of life floods our family-owned stores with delectable offerings of lobster, cod, crabs, haddock, scallops, and whatever other sea critters are caught beneath the depths. Any other foodstuffs needed are purchased from local hunters or procured from the numerous gardens planted by our homegrown homeowners. I tell ya, there is something truly magical in the air here. Never have I ever had berries and cherries as plump and juicy as the ones grown here, and the fresh honey from the hives. Sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked here. Let's look at some listings, shall we? Talk to me. What area are we looking to be in? Okay, and what kind of a budget are we working with? Gotcha. Now, how many beds and baths are needed to satisfy your needs? I hear ya. I feel ya. got one last question for you. Are you one a pool? Amen to that. Well, have I got some news for you. Your dream home has been located. It's right on the outskirts of town, by all those beautiful pines and birches. There's even an ocean view in the master bedroom. Speaking of which, this splendid home comes with 3 spacious bedrooms, each outfitted with a fireplace to die for. And that's not all. Every bedroom, along with the rest of the house, comes fully furnished with articles of the topmost quality, crafted from the finest Bourbon wood, sea silk, and Italian marbles, all housed under 15,000 square feet of living space. And you want to know the best part? It can all be had for well under your budget. Now, before you get too excited, there is one tiny little downside. There happens to be a lack of a swimming pool, but fear not. There just happens to be a lovely water fountain in the backyard that is perfect for soaking. So with all that being said, are you still interested in the property? Wonderful. Here, let me get you the photos I have of this listing. There you are. Oh, before I forget, due to some goofy little real estate laws, I'm required to inform you that a murder has occurred in this home. Well, multiple murders actually. Oh, let's see, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 homicides took place throughout the property, along with 2 self-defense killings, so in total, 12 people have died in the home. Deaths have occurred in the nursery, greenhouse, formal dining room, attic, upstairs den, theater, front yard, and the old catacombs. But you don't need to worry about those dusty old catacombs anymore. They were deemed a structural hazard, filled with concrete and sealed off long ago. My, you're a curious one, ain't you? What happened here was an act of passion, burning, fiery passion. You see, back in the late 1800s, a magician by the name of Zoltan Carnavash became consumed by the arts, consumed to the point where the only thing on his mind was perfecting his craft. He wanted to spend every waking day working on his act. Everything else became a source of contempt, just something to distract him and derail his work. These feelings continued to fester and boil until he finally exploded in rage one day when his infant daughter interrupted his practice session for his next act with her wailing. He wound up shaking her to death. The cruelty didn't end there either. With the death of his baby girl, the abuse transferred to his then wife, Horatia, inevitably leading to her untimely death by the way of gardening tools. This cycle of abuse and murder continued to claim more wives until Carno's fifth and final wife, Marie, broke the cycle. She was the lucky ducky who managed to find herself a knight in shining armor. That man being Carno's very own prop master, Gaston. As their love blossomed, the two cuddlebugs began hatching a plan to off Carno and run away together happily ever after. Their plan had Gaston sabotage Carno's very own Throne of Terror right before he was due on stage in what would become his final act. Once he arrived on set, Carno was masked, legitimately shackled, and set ablaze, all the while being spun around like some circus con candy as a swinging blade lowered ever closer. When all was said and done, Carno was a deep-fried, comatose, crispy critter. Now, why those two lovebirds didn't fly off into the sunset that fateful night, or any one of those nights Carno lay in a coma for that matter, I'll never know. All I know for sure is Carno awoke one day and enacted his revenge on the new couple, mutilating Gaston past the point of human recognition, and splitting the head of Marie with the very blade meant to end him. Much to Carno's surprise, however, Gaston still had a spark of life left, and used the very last of his strength to impale him with a pipe, killing the magician at long last before dropping dead himself. The rest of the murders took place about 100 years later, when a new couple, Adrian Delaney and Donald Gordon, the only people to live in the house since Carno, moved in. And let's just say, history has a tendency to repeat. An artist husband, so consumed by his work, it becomes all he can focus on. Everything else becomes a burden. Anything interrupting the process of creation becomes a source of contempt. Anyone reminding him of a world outside the arts must be squashed. And just like Carno, his rage finally erupted one day. In this case, due to his wife's aloof nature. Poor Don. Time and time again, his request for some simple drain cleaner fell on deaf ears. Even in his most crucial time of need, Adrian still failed to act. Unable to complete his renovations, time wasting away, taking precious moments away from his photography, he went postal. Drinking all the liquor, killing the family cat, murdering their two home caretakers, and chopping up a phone repairman with an axe. With his rampage nearing its end, it was time to usher in the final act, smearing himself in sandwich condiments and going on the hunt for Adrian. Funnily enough, he shared the same fate as the late Carno, only difference being he was impaled by the Throne of Terror swinging blade. Anyway, Now that you're fully informed, are you still interested in seeing the property? Splendid. I'm glad to hear you don't believe in that superstitious mumbo jumbo. If you're ready to rock and roll, I can show you the house right now. Excellent.